home to the world's first skyscraper. Chicago plays host to our final Heritage Series event of the year. Gosh, does it get any better than that, Rich Lamborn?
It doesn't. I think we got the aerial view right over our hotel, the Drake sign, and there is the stadium court. It's gorgeous here.
I love it. Such a fantastic venue. You can see now into Stadium Court for the 2024 Chicago Open. Another match about to begin on this Survival Saturday. Cameron Irwin alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn, and Savvy is alongside Abby Van Winkle. This is a team that they were this close to taking down TKN yesterday. What do they have to bring to the table today?
Right on the brink, right, in several ways, right? We're looking at a spot in the league at stake here for them. If they can replicate what they played like yesterday against Taryn and Kristen, I think their shot is fantastic. The only hiccup, they're facing off against an MJ in the city of Chicago. That's always daunting. Always daunting.
That is so true. On the opposite side of the net, it is MJ Rice facing or alongside a very solid partner in Brook Bauer out of Florida State. This duo is looking to kind of increase some of their point values in terms of where they're heading as a duo.
Yeah, they've got Nick Lucena in their box, though. He got fed real well. There he is. No boo last night. Yeah.
A little fancy
He's
for this guy.
nutritioned up. He's ready. I think the girls are ready. This should be a great showdown here on Stadium.
One of the legends of the game, Nick Lucena. Good person to have in your box. There's a look to the other side. Savvy and Abby are ready to roll. It is a horse race for the league for this duo. To Mark Sherman now.
Here we go, looking to stay alive. This is the 9th place round. Nobody wants 9th place. They want to play all day long. Let's meet the teams. This first team, well, both of these players had their breakout year here on the AVP in 2023, and they teamed up towards the end of 23. They're fun to watch playing together. First up out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at Florida State University. Give it up for Brook Bauer. And her partner out of Hermosa Beach and LMU got a 2nd place in Hermosa Beach last year, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Miss Megan J. Rice. And their opponents back here on a stadium court. This first player, oh my goodness, so much fun to watch. A favorite wherever she goes out of UCLA. They still don't know who I'm talking about, but now they will. Out of Rancho Santa Fe, California. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Savvy Simo. Her partner, multiple time, the first team All-American out of UCLA in Santa Margarita and San Clemente, California. Give it up for Abby Van Winkle.
The UCLA Bruin duo, Abby Van Winkle, Savvy Simo. Back in Manhattan Beach, they took down a giant. And Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes, they nearly doubled down against TKN yesterday. However, they find themselves in a contenders bracket matchup and on the brink of being in the top 8. The number 9 seed to the left side of your screen, the right side, Brook Bauer, playing alongside Megan Rice. Nice first pickup, Brook Bauer, the defender. Van Winkle gets stuffed.
Yeah, that's a big block, and we didn't actually see her get blocked a whole lot yesterday, even against Taryn Cloth at the net. Good start for Bauer and Rice.
Megan Rice out of Hermosa Beach, California. Played at UCSB and LMU. Savvy Simo, a little jumbo poke for you.
Nicely done. Even pulled that off against Kristen Nuss yesterday. It's always interesting to see day-to-day, match-to-match, if people can maintain kind of a consistent level. And certainly, I think if Simo and Rice, almost crawls over. can get anywhere close to the level they were at yesterday, you like their chances in this one.
They've continued to, I don't even know if it's improved, but maybe find a little bit more of that solidified or a higher standard of play. They've picked up 2 Contender Series wins, 1 in Denver and 1 in Virginia Beach. And then what they did in Manhattan Beach also kind of set the tone for them heading into Chicago.
Yeah, right. We talk about one of the differentiators between the top teams and kind of the tier right underneath the elite team, so to speak, is the consistency factor, right? And I think maybe that's what we're seeing out of Simo and Van Winkle is improved consistency. All these teams can play, all these teams have skills, but can you put it together play after play after play?
Well, and you saw it in the bottom corner, just their 8th tournament together. So still adding to the list of their AVP experience. And you can come to expect that from Savvy Simo. She just always goes full send Simo.
Yeah, that's kind of a hallmark of their team in general, too, I think. We saw just some unbelievable scrap from them yesterday here on Stadium Court, and that's an excellent place to start because no matter what your skill level, you can always send it, right, Cam?
No doubt about it. These 2 teams, in fact, did face off in the Contenders Series final in Virginia Beach. The winning team was Simo and Van Winkle, 22-20, 21-19. Hotly contested.
Thin margins out here.
Bauer with a bit of a pass gone awry. Make something good of it.
Yeah. Switch.
Something you heard all the time, but an assist from MJ.
Slow walk to the other side. The path for these 2 teams to this point. Abby and Savvy won first round against some of their friends, Lexi Denenberg and Deanna Kraft, 21-17, 21-19. Then took the 3-set loss to Taryn and Kristen, Brook Bauer and Megan Rice. They took a first-round loss to Rodriguez and Urango, then a win over Furch and Shaw in the second round, 18-16 in the third.
Ooh.
Bauer seeing the majority of attacks in that matchup. They stay on Bauer, and Van Winkle nearly comes away with a block.
Between that one and the serve, they're 2 centimeters away from 2 extra points.
So we've been talking a lot about Savvy and Abby, but for Brook Bauer and Megan Rice, how would you attack this team?
Yeah, my answer to that question is always the same, I think. It starts from the service line. You know, this is a very physical team out there. MJ, one of the more athletic players on tour. You see Brook's physicality on that swing right there. And so you've got to get them out of rhythm if you're Simo and Van Winkle, because otherwise you kind of get overpowered a little bit, potentially.
Bauer goes to Simo, who puts up a dime of a pass.
A great pass. I mentioned it yesterday. Long indoor background, Savvy, as well as on the beach.
Savvy Simo, the 2-time national champion at UCLA, was an All-American both with the indoor game as well as beach, as there's just too much force on the side of Bauer and Rice.
You could feel that pop from all the way up here in our TV tower again.
Short serve, but now an open net. Good touch from Brook Bauer. Hi-ya, says MJ Rice.
Rice.
Way to finish for MJ. How about making something out of that? Last two steps for Abby Van Winkle.
She's quite good at that on the inside set, getting to it at a high contact point so she can wrap it over the line.
Another look at Nick Lucena, coaching alongside his wife now at FSU, Brook Nines, former AVP pro.
Travis Mayfurter coming up this season as well, the new hire.
Love that swing, Brooke Bauer.
And you can see Savvy and Abby just kind of unable to interrupt the comfort level of Brooke and MJ as of yet.
Another fun fact too, Brooke Bauer actually coached at FSU. Travis taking over the spot. She said she wanted to really focus on her game and her play.
Good chat about that one.
A little conversation now.
He had that right away.
Yes, or interference.
And I'm watching
A net violation is the call. Net
You
violation.
can't watch that. That's not appropriate.
Abby says, no way.
I'm not questioning your integrity. He saw a net fall. No, he called a net fall.
And we're going to take a timeout.
That's great to get that mic'd up listen to the discussion.
Brooke and Megan.
But it's so tough when you're convinced you didn't net and the call's going against you, trying to point to the big board. That's our referee is obviously not instructed to look at replays and affect their calls.
Keep it up.
Here's a look back at that last call. I don't know, Rich.
Yeah, I think she got it down low, it looked like, right? This is where the net starts shaking. I remember a former teammate of mine, who played on the AVP for a long time as well, Reed Pretty, talked about the advent of kind of the slow-mo replay in particular and how interesting that was. Because as a player, you're so convinced that a ball's in or out, you netted or didn't net, right? And then the replay oftentimes shows a very different story.
Changing the game without there actually being a challenge involved in beach volleyball. Brooke Bauer back again to the service line. She said last year she was playing in Chicago, and right after she finished, she went right back to Florida State, coach alongside Brooke and Nick. Fun to have him in the box.
Over, and it is 12.
Not only was she coached by him, she coached alongside him, and now as an AVP pro.
It'd be interesting to ask her how coaching the game has affected her as a player. I think it oftentimes gives you an interesting insight, especially if you're still at a point where you can come back out as a player.
A little extra something on that one for Abby Van Winkle. I actually spoke to her about it, and she said first and foremost she absolutely loved coaching, and not just coaching because she is impacting lives, but also just really enjoyed being alongside Brooke and Nick specifically. Said one of the most professional coaching staffs, learned so much. There's the slide from Rice. And the error from Simo.
It's 13.
A little bit off for the team of Van Winkle and Simo thus far. You got to credit Brooke Bauer and MJ Rice, though, for putting a lot of pressure on them.
That is out of bounds.
Van Winkle tries to find another, but again, the errors just starting to mount on the side of Simo and Van Winkle. They are now up to 6 hitting errors combined, 4 on the side of Van Winkle alone. Seeing the separation there, and this is do or die time for Savvy Simo and Abby Van Winkle, as they are trying to find themselves in the league coming into Saturday morning. They are on the outside looking in.
We're looking for 5 to 10 contestants from the bougie side of the
wonder if that weighs on them a little bit. It's interesting to see how people react when the stakes get high. As you can see right there, they're at T7 position.
So again, this was coming into the weekend before Friday action took place, and you can imagine those would have adjusted significantly had they taken that win over TKN, but instead they find themselves dropping a little bit lower as of Saturday morning. They still have a shot to work all the way back around. They are going head-to-head right now with the same team they were tied with. That is Kylie DeBerg and Haley Harward. They are at the same exact juncture on the contenders bracket as Simo and Van Winkle. Throughout the day, we will keep you abreast as to all league happenings, as teams are currently being somewhat eliminated and somewhat clinching spots. After the finals on Championship Sunday, the AVP will announce the teams making the league. You can find that on all the AVP channels. Getting that announcement coming at the end of the week. Bauer finds a dig. Simo needs to find some magic here, but that set's too tight. He still walk away with it.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
I like the celebration. That's something this team does really well, just in terms of staying positive and finding that rhythm even down at this juncture.
Well, yeah, you bring up a good point. Their level of enthusiasm, they're trying to fire it up a little bit, but it has been stifled a little bit, finding themselves in this hole. And it is an important part of their game, I think.
Tough ball for Bauer, starting with the very first contact.
And that's that good serving we talked about. Bauer and Rice have been excellent from the service line thus far, building this lead. And Winkle and Simo need to find a little bit of firepower back there.
On the same side of the contenders bracket are Flint and Scholes, who beat Hildreth and Van Gunst this morning. So whoever wins this matchup between Bauer, Rice, Simo, and Van Winkle will face off against the number 4 seed. Great serve. Another dig by Bauer. Brook Bauer came to play.
Yeah, I love the patience defensively there from Brook Bauer, too. As you can see, Savvy was a little bit off the net, just waited kind of in center field. Got the ball right in her lap and then detonates in transition.
Rich, she's already up to 7 digs in this first set alone.
I mean, they're putting all kinds of pressure on Van Winkle and Simo from the service line. You see Abby and Savvy having to kind of dive almost to receive a lot of these serves. It's excellent stuff. Rice and Bauer.
That's too easy of a serve, because you're going to see that. She's unafraid to take a cut at a ball.
I don't know if we've seen her at anything less than 100% offensively.
Megan Rice, one of the most physical on the mid side. Abby Van Winkle really seems to like to attack from the exterior of the court. How does that kind of change the defensive alignment for Bauer and Rice?
Well, she's got kind of that angular approach. Sometimes that can be difficult for a blocker and therefore a defender to line up, right? Because you're not exactly sure which route she's going to take to the set. She's going to come in at an angle. She's going to go up the sideline. So it's a good offensive tactic for Van Winkle and Simo. It does, I don't know, make you guess a little bit defensively, though, as far as your setups.
Some help from the service line.
And the ace for 12. Abby back to serve again.
Yeah, they're not quite done just yet. It's probably not going to work out in this first set, but it's Operation Generate Momentum here for Abby and Savvy.
Call mission control.
Yeah.
6-point lead, Bauer and Rice. I mean, if you're Simo and Van Winkle, this is not how you want to start the day. You got to change the tide now. And even that doesn't work. She gets the higher contact, but too much power. Bauer and Rice now up 19-12.
Yeah, a little bit shocking, and it's just, that's been kind of the way it's gone for Abby and Savvy in this first set, right? A few missed line shots, that one just going a little bit long. There's kind of some uncharacteristic mistakes from these girls.
There's that positivity again. I still like Bauer, still got a hand on that. She's been the MVP thus far.
Yeah, when you see these lopsided scores, you know, there's kind of two ways to look at it. One side is playing very well, or the other side is playing not so well. And sometimes it's a little bit of a combination of both, which is what I think you have here.
Just out of bounds, make it 14-19.
Berg and Harward again. The other team looking to find a higher value in league standings. In action right now against Con and Sowers, who won their first round of the day. Van Winkle with the overpass.
Toying with the end line again on that one. A little close for comfort.
Has this first set escaped them? Can they find a miracle?
Will switch sides at set point 2015.
Now with a missed serve. Set point now, Bauer and Rice.
Oh, it looks like we found enough bougie people to do our contest. What's up?
Mentioned Bauer saw the majority of attacks in their last matchup. She hit 5'11". She had 28 kills in a 3-set match.
At a 5'11" clip, that's impressive.
That's a wild set point. Extended off.
Stay alive. It's set for one. It'll be set point number 2.
Inside out will do it. You kind of start getting into the mindset. If you're MJ and Brook, hey, we just need to see if we can't put one more set together of the same kind of stuff. They're serving great. They're playing great offensively. Putting a lot of pressure on their opponents.
There's some more pressure added to Savvy Simo and Abby Van Winkle as Brooke Bauer and Megan Rice
and they do
take
finish
the
it off
first
after a little
with
comeback.
quite the statement.
Yeah, they took it pretty convincingly, too. There was a little bit of a late push from Abby and Savvy, but pretty lopsided first in favor of those two right there.
All right, let's line it up right here, straight line right here, facing the crowd. This is not Simon Says, but this is Mark Says. When I say Mark says something, you must do it. If I don't say Mark says.
We've been following the story of Abby Van Winkle and Savvy Simo as they need a really nice finish to get higher in league standings. The Berg and Harward are currently in action on some of our out-of-court coverage. The team they're in a bit of a race with now. Top 8 teams making the league. There are 2 wild cards available to the AVP. Whether they will use them or not is the question. Potentially one on either side, men's or women's. A lot of questions, a lot of speculation. It's making it fun as we head off to the league. Kahn and Sowers versus DeBerg and Harward. The left side of your screen, three courts all at once. Hodel, York, Rodriguez, and Urango. The right side, they're sitting in the technical timeout on court number 2. Near side are DeBerg and Harward.
This is prepping me for NFL Sundays, where I have a screen full of different games. I like this.
Somebody call Scott Hansen. Little red zone, gold zone, whatever you want to call it. DeBerg and Harward just slotted at the exact same spot in the Contender bracket. As Van Winkle and Simo.
Very nice. Marcez, keep drinking. Marcez, put it down. Marcez, one off the court. All the players come back on. We're taking 2 off.
Carly Kahn, Devin Sowers, the 13 seed. Had a really nice win over Devin Newberry and Jaden Whitmarsh to start the morning. It was a 3-set battle, closing out at 15-13 right here on Stadium Court. And actually, both of Sowers and Kahn's matches went 3. They also took a loss to Flint and Scholes. That was their very first round. 14-16 in the third.
Oh, wow. They're getting their money's worth here in Chicago.
Yeah, they're testing people. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, make a long road for yourself. Survivor Saturday. Lose early.
Savvy Simo, Abby Van Winkle versus Brooke Bauer and Megan Rice. Simo and Van Winkle looking to right the ship, but that is bounced.
Was that over the top, Cam? We don't know. It was a heck of a hit either way.
What's the answer for Simo and Van Winkle? How do you even limit errors and reset your mindset?
Yeah, I don't know. I think all these players are very good at kind of the set-to-set reset, so to speak, right? Scoreboard starts over. You get a chance to put all the mistakes of set 1 behind you. Good response there from Savvy. And you just kind of get back to business. I like what Savvy did to start out from the service line. Went with that deep serve. Sometimes that can throw off an offensive player's rhythm. Didn't happen to work out so well on that last particular annihilation from MJ on the left.
They stay on Brooke Bauer. Nice extension with the left hand. I'm a little surprised. Brooke Bauer hitting 500 and Rice at 308. Why would you stay with an attacker?
That was MJ, wasn't it? On the left side there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Brooke.
The last two have been
the matching swimsuits get you sometimes.
Yeah, we go team visor, team bathing suit. It is tough at times.
I'm sorry, MJ and Bauer. That's my bad. Pulling out the hands, and it's beautiful, but it's Abby Van Winkle making a statement now. That is her first block of the match.
You like the strategic adjustment, too, from Van Winkle and Simo. Talked about that deep serve to MJ earlier from Savvy. This one going short, keeping her on her toes, trying to interrupt her rhythm a little bit if they can. Van Winkle coming up with a great block as well.
Rice from the right. There's the timing. Savvy turns one.
And there you go. That serve went deep again, forced MJ to do something a little bit different, go around the backside. Savvy and Abby able to turn it into a point.
Couple quick back steps for Rice, who finds the cut shot on the left side. So they've turned to Rice, who's hitting 250. She's 6 of 16 in the match. She's 3 of 6, though, in this second set. Simo, 667 in set 2. Side spin on the serve.
That ball sails into the antenna, point to Bauer and
Second
Rice,
contact.
4-4.
Bit of an issue finding the net.
That's an unusual mistake from Savvy, usually very sure-handed. I like that sidewinder serve. It's just something a little unusual. Players aren't used to seeing it. It's got a little bit of break on it.
Let's see if she goes back to it. High deep float instead.
Yeah, right idea again, just missing on the execution of Savvy Abby.
And that finds the middle.
The middle, right on the line, the ace for 6-4.
Ace for Brook Bauer.
Yeah, interesting how just a little bit of that spin can upgrade your serve ever so slightly. Look at this thing just kind of start towards Savvy, curve right into the middle for the ace.
Brook Bauer gets it over the net. Double down defense. MJ with the finish.
Wow, what
Play by Megan.
a great play on the side of Rice and Bauer. All-out effort defensively.
Really impressive play from this duo, Bauer and Rice. Couple products of the collegiate game. Brook Bauer started at Pepperdine, then went off to FSU, finished her 5th year of eligibility there, and led them to the national championship matchup. Ended up as the runner-up, but no doubt has played in some high-pressure moments. And right now, this duo is looking rather unstoppable.
Looking very, very solid at the moment.
Scratch Kitchen, the NADC burger, not a damn chance.
I like it. Hey, good stuff. Stay pressed if you're ready to adjust, and it can go either way. If you go on that left side, like, I don't know if that's on that. We can score neither. Let's just focus on ourselves. Keep communicating.
So the early timeout, Simo and Winkle need to win set 2. Force a set 3.
Nice having a guy that's won 16 AVP titles in your box.
They're up 7-4.
A two-time Olympian, Nick Lucena, 2016 and 2021. Always rocking the Seminoles hat.
A pensive Nick Lucena.
We got a high.
Is out of bounds.
Simo wanting to see about this line call.
Definitely out of bounds.
Yeah,
It is 8-4.
it's interesting asking for a challenge, but Katie's saying it's clearly out. She saw it.
Even that you thought was a great shot, but play continues. Free ball. Bauer. Heavy
9-4.
flat ball.
Yeah, and they are just in juggernaut mode right now. Bauer and Rice serving the ball tough, defending the ball, and of course that power offensively.
Brook Bauer, originally out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She had the very first beach volleyball tournament she ever played and was alongside her mom.
Savvy will switch sides to your basic word.
She's come a bit since then.
Come a little ways. may not make too much of a difference as well as Rice and Bauer are playing, but a little bit of a service mistake there in the sense that they were scoring point after point on Van Winkle. Put that one over to Simo, and she sides out nicely.
Back to Bauer they go. They need a few more of those.
Yeah, tries to take that up the line, just barely misses. Yeah, agreed. Van Winkle and Simo will take the easy ones where they can get them.
Option. And she just curls over the top of that ball. You have to get so high in order to do what she just did.
Have another look here. I don't even know that she gets to full extension, but she's up so high, as you mentioned, she can just pike over the top of that thing.
It was like her shoulder was above the height of the ball. Back to the right side, cut shot is good. A unique lineup too, considering you've got Abby Van Winkle playing that right side as the taller of the two. Pulling off the net and the perfect placement.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. Not one that the retreating blockers are expecting to see. Usually you get that ball kind of hitting your direction. Brook going teardrop to the line.
Simo and Van Winkle add one more.
And Savvy desperately trying to fire up her squad right now. They need something good to go their way. Trailing by 3, almost midway through this second set, and they need this one.
Brook Bauer again answering the question. She is fighting those off the sideline.
Yeah, they're good serves, and MJ and Brook are just passing the ball extremely well right now, keeping themselves in system. Not sure if there's a more physical duo on the AVP than this duo right here.
Opening up the hip, finding the platform, but there's another block. Abby Van Winkle started set number 2 with one. Maybe that's going to be what turns them. Simo and Van Winkle into the technical, but still trailing.
Yeah, they're still in a rough spot, but there are worlds of difference between being down 12-9 and being down 13-8. So excellent, excellent block and point saved by Abby Van Winkle.
From this line, drop a little bit. The only difference, your elbow don't finish flat forward, your elbow finish a little bit more to the side. Keep tighten out and pressing the serve.
Going to improve their standings to make the league. The two teams coming up after this one in the winner's bracket. We go to the final round of the winner's bracket. There's a chance to make it undefeated for the semifinals on Sunday. We'll have 4 of those matches in a row.
Finding the minor adjustments here at the midpoint of the second set. Here's what's coming up next as we head off to the winner's side of the bracket. Women's quarterfinal action going back-to-back. Humana Paredes, Wilkerson, Chang, and Hughes. A 3 versus 2 matchup. And then it's Cloth and Nuss versus Cannon and Kraft. Cannon and Kraft having a really nice tournament to this point. Dahlhauser Dross, the 6th seed, getting a nice spot against the number 2, Andy Benish and Miles Partain. We saw them in action in Manhattan Beach for the first time in 2024 on the AVP. Took a loss in the final to Trevor and Theo. Another. We just need to put a whole highlight reel together.
It's got a different sound when she attacks the ball, doesn't it?
It's always interesting to see just some of the different arm mechanics, right? The different types of arm swings. You kind of have some of those flat, heavy hitters. Think of Alisson and kind of both of these two, Bauer and Rice. Just the heavy arm versus kind of the whip or some of the smooth mechanics you might see from someone like a savvy Simo.
Yeah, it is always interesting to try and determine what makes such a heavy attack versus kind of a quick or speedy attack, right? Some people just seem to have that knack to put a little weight behind the ball.
Finally, the tough serve of Abby Van Winkle paying dividends.
She had to get that all the way over towards the sideline, as you'll see here on the replay. Anything shy of that, Brook Bauer has been eating up.
Riding the ship, Brook Bauer on the first contact. Rice with the block.
Yeah, big opportunity by the wayside for Simo and Van Winkle on that one. Perfect dig. Set gets a little bit too tight.
Nice timing from MJ. MJ pulls off, transition. Cut shot works.
Yeah, such an effective shot because you have to respect the heat that we've seen from her. She can just chop that off into the angle.
Yeah, you talk about complementary shots, right? In order to really have that nice cut, you have to have the opposite, right? Whether it's the high line or the power into the angle.
Yeah, very much so.
Variety of weapons. What weapon does Abby have? No, it's out of bounds. Again, they were working to that cut shot.
Yeah, so I talk about this with some regularity. Something I kind of like to pay attention to from a coaching standpoint. That transition opportunity that Abby and Savvy just missed with the tight set a couple points ago leads to them giving up 2 reels right on the back of it. So that's, you know, a 3-point swing at this point. When they're trailing, that's obviously huge.
Great chase. Brook Bauer, once again, the extension on defense just continues to add to her stat line.
Yeah, and they are just feeling it right now. Everything coming up Bauer and Rice.
12 digs for Brook Bauer. 9 kills. As you see, the numbers continue to climb as their team efficiency is at that 360 mark. The falling pokey point. Little self-cover and kill.
Yeah, that's impressive body control. To have the wherewithal to do that as you're kind of falling to the sand. Nicely done, Abby.
Savvy, quick back up on her feet with the point.
13-17.
Similar position to where they were in set number 1 at 17-11. Side chains, they managed to claw their way back a little bit, but they've still got a long way to go.
It's go time right now for Savvy Simo and Abby Van Winkle, considering the context of this match.
A little bit of controversy here. Was there a touch? Was there not a touch? Again, we won't get a replay. No touch detected.
There's a look at it.
So, Shivani, net salt on your, okay, did you see a touch? Okay, I didn't either. There was a lot of hands up there, but I didn't discern a touch over that. So I'm going to stay with ball out. Okay.
It is no touch.
Love the questioning. Making sure you go through the right process.
Fantastic work from our very seasoned officials out here on the AVP. Yeah, I like how you said that too, Kim, the progression. Was there a net fault? No. Did you see a touch? No. We're going to stay with the original call.
That's the great.
Was out.
That's the great Katie Meyer. On the stand. Savvy Simo. Soft platform. Net violation.
Violation, it is 15-17.
And a timeout called. Simo and Van Winkle.
All right.
A little bit of momentum here.
Momentum, yeah, forcing a timeout from MJ. This is kind of their first signs of life. Look at this. I mean, the recovery from Brook Bauer. Kind of stumbled to her knees, still able to get that dig, but partner into the net. It makes me think back to, though, that missed opportunity from Savvy and Abby a little bit earlier, on the back of which they gave up a couple of those points. This could be a lot different this second set, texture-wise, had that gone a little bit differently. Let's see if they can keep this current momentum going.
Well, they send a timeout. Here's a look. Again, the race is currently on. DeBerg and Harvard are another team to watch out for. There's, quite honestly, any of these teams, if any of them wins this event, well, that's another good way to get yourself in the league.
Yeah, the direct ticket always works.
DeBerg and Harvard, another team that is neck and neck right now with Simo and Van Winkle. Dropped set number 1. They're looking a little bit cleaner here in the second. Rodriguez and Durango are also up in the standings right now. They're in about the midpoint of the top 8. Odell and York just playing in their second of the 3 Heritage Series events against or alongside one another.
That was a really nice play on the side of Rice and Bauer. That was a tough serve. Brook had to just kind of sprawl, keep it off the sand, but comes up with a really good pass to get that started for her squad.
I like the timeout called there by Brook Bauer and MJ Rice. They stop the bleeding. Brook Bauer gets a set a bit too tight, sends it back. Simo, open net. And the kill.
And that's just what they need right now, is a little bit of that fire that we've become so accustomed to out of this pair.
Back within 2. How much grit you got, Savvy Simo?
I think she's got all you need, but you know, so does the duo on the other side of the net.
Van Winkle, 30 total attempts. Now at the service line, she's 2-2, aces to errors. She's been serving the sideline of Bauer. She goes back there, but it's another error.
Switch 19-16.
Yeah, each one of those that goes wide. I mean, if Bauer and Rice get to 20, that's when it starts to get real dicey. When you're on the comeback trail, right? Because just one mistake and it's over.
Bauer Rice 2 away from moving on. Awaiting the victor, Flint and Scholes. A gift for Simo and Van Winkle.
That does feel nice when you get the freebie. They need 1, if not 2, right here, however.
Van Winkle has 2 blocks, looking for number 3. Tight ball, and there it is! Right on the money. Abby Van Winkle.
Cam, the prognosticator, calling that one. That was a tremendous move from Van Winkle at the net.
Volume increased. It's a 1-point game.
Smart. Match point for Megan J.
Really
Rice.
heads-up play from MJ Rice. That serves just a little bit too easy. My liking there. You got to make it, of course. I like the discretion, but you got to put a little bit more pressure on Brook Bauer than just a lob right in her lap.
Bauer and Rice at a match point. Side set. Block for the win. Bauer and Rice are moving on.
Great sets, moving on. Here in Chicago.
Now it's, I think, the waiting game for Savvy and Abby, league-wise, and that's going to be a little bit disappointing for them.
You can see from Abby Van Winkle and Savvy Simo just the deflation, knowing that not only is Chicago over, but they can't add any more points to league standings as you take a look at the monster block brought to you by Rainstorm. The last and final, that's MJ up there, throwing it back down.
Yeah, she was big at the net all match long this morning. And she and Brook Bauer really put on a fine performance, kind of stifling the energy and the consistency of Abby and Savvy on the other side.
Nice two-set win for Bauer and Rice. The number 11 seed will now face off against the number 4. Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes, Abby and Savvy breaking things down. They will have to await the decision come Sunday on the AVP as to who will move on to the league. Coming up next, it's Humana Paredes, Wilkerson, Chang, and Hughes.